The history of Ennis, County Clare, Ireland. A tale of heritage and resilience nestled along the banks of the River Fergus. Ennis is a town that pulses with history, its streets echoing stories of resilience, faith, and the fight for independence. From the hallowed halls of the Franciscan friary to its pivotal role in shaping Ireland's destiny, Ennis's past is as dynamic as its present. Seeking spiritual sanctity amidst their temporal pursuits, they invited the Franciscans to establish a friary in 1242. The Franciscan friary became a cornerstone of the town's identity, serving as a center of learning and faith for centuries. Even after the dissolution of the monasteries under Henry VIII, the friary endured as a symbol of resistance and devotion. Today, its ruins stand as a testament to Ennis's enduring spirit, with its Gothic arches and intricate carvings drawing visitors who seek a glimpse into Ireland's medieval past. Ennis's strategic location near the River Fergus made it a focal point during periods of conflict. The Cromwellian conquest of the mid-17th century brought hardship to the region. Ennis was a hotbed of political activity during the Irish War of Independence, 1919 to 1921. Ennis was deeply affected, with its lands confiscated and redistributed. Local volunteers of the Irish Republican Army carried out guerrilla tactics against British forces. The town saw several key operations, including ambushes and intelligence-gathering efforts. Ennis's people endured curfews and reprisals, but their determination never wavered. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Ennis emerged as a market town, thriving on trade while also grappling with the Great Famine. Ennis also played a significant role during the Civil War that followed. As allegiances divided households but never broke the spirit of its people, Ennis became synonymous with this triumph, as it demonstrated the power of collective action and paved the way for broader civil rights reforms. For the people of Ennis and beyond, the monument is a reminder of Ireland's long struggle for equality and the power of peaceful resistance. The Old Ground Hotel, a cornerstone of Ennis's history, has been much more than a place of rest for weary travelers. Originally a manor house built in the 18th century, it was converted into a hotel in the 19th century and has since been a witness to the town's most transformative moments. During the tumultuous years of Ireland's struggle for independence, the Old Ground Hotel served as a gathering point for politicians, activists, and writers. It became a hub for discourse, where plans were discussed and alliances forged. The hotel's discreet yet strategic location made it an ideal venue for clandestine meetings during the War of Independence. In addition to its political significance, the Old Ground played a cultural role, hosting countless events that celebrated Ennis's rich musical and literary traditions. Its walls have echoed with the voices of traditional Irish musicians, poets, and storytellers who have kept Clare's heritage alive. Over time, the Old Ground Hotel became a symbol of continuity, adapting to modern needs while preserving its historical charm. Its ivy-clad facade, period features, and warm Irish hospitality continue to draw visitors seeking to connect with the past. Staying at the Old Ground is like stepping into history, a perfect embodiment of Ennis's spirit. The Franciscan friary, founded in the 13th century by the O'Briens of Thomond, remains a jewel of medieval Ennis. The friary was not only a religious center but also a place of education and community gathering. Despite being suppressed during the dissolution of the monasteries, it continued to function covertly, serving as a beacon of hope during times of persecution. Today, the intricate stone carvings and Gothic arches of the friaries remains captivate visitors and locals alike. Clare Museum. The Clare Museum offers a window into the county's history, with exhibits spanning prehistoric artifacts, medieval relics, and memorabilia from Ireland's War of Independence. Its Riches of Clare exhibition is particularly notable, showcasing items that highlight the social, cultural, and economic life of the region over the centuries. Glore Theatre. Ennis's cultural heartbeat, Glore Theatre, is a modern venue for traditional Irish music, dance, and contemporary performances. The theater also hosts festivals that celebrate Clare's cultural vibrancy. Ennis Abbey. Though less celebrated than the Franciscan Friary, Ennis Abbey holds historical significance as an early ecclesiastical site in the town. It underscores Ennis's role as a spiritual center in County Clare. The people who were instrumental in Ennis history. The O'Briens of Thomond, rulers of Munster, were instrumental in Ennis's founding and growth. The history of Ennis can be traced back to the 13th century, when the O'Briens of Thomond, rulers of Munster, established their stronghold nearby at Clonroad. Donchad Cairbrich O'Brien, who invited the Franciscans to establish the friary, laid the foundations for Ennis to thrive as a medieval town. The family's patronage extended to other significant religious and cultural projects in the region. Daniel O'Connell. The streets of Ennis are paved with history, from O'Connell Square, named after the liberator, Daniel O'Connell, to the narrow laneways that once bustled with traders. The echoes of historic struggles are visible in sites like the Daniel O'Connell Monument, a reminder of the town's fight for Catholic emancipation. The monument in O'Connell Square was erected in the late 19th century to commemorate his contributions. It features a bronze statue of O'Connell, arms outstretched in his characteristic oratory pose, symbolizing his role as a unifying figure. But why does this figure, known as the Liberator, hold such a prominent place in Ennis? The answer lies in his pivotal role in the fight for Catholic emancipation and his ties to County Clare. Running as a Catholic candidate in a time when Catholics were forbidden to take their seats in Westminster, his landslide victory in Clare pressured the British government to pass the Act. Daniel O'Connell's efforts culminated in the Catholic Relief Act of 1829, which removed many restrictions on Catholics in Ireland, including the right to sit in Parliament. O'Connell's victory in the Clare by-election of 1828 was a groundbreaking event in Irish history. The town served as the epicenter of this groundbreaking political event, which led to Catholic emancipation and earned O'Connell the title of the Liberator. Although not a native, Daniel O'Connell's victory in the 1828 Clare by-election forever tied his name to Ennis. Eamon de Valera. Figures such as Eamon de Valera, who represented Clare in Dáil Éireann, brought the county into the spotlight of the independence movement. As a prominent political figure and later Taoiseach and President of Ireland, Eamon de Valera's representation of Clare in Dáil Éireann brought national attention to the county. His leadership during the War of Independence and his role in shaping modern Ireland made him a central figure in Ennis's 20th century history. Michael Cusack. A native of Carron, not far from Ennis, Michael Cusack's establishment of the GAA had a profound impact on Clare and Irish culture. Cusack Park, named after Michael Cusack, founder of the Gaelic Athletic Association, GAA, embodies the town's dedication to Irish sports and culture. This hallowed ground has hosted countless hurling and football matches, bringing the community together in celebration of Irish heritage. A son of Clare, Brendan O'Regan's contributions to Irish tourism and economic development, particularly through the establishment of Shannon Airport's duty-free zone, also had an impact on Ennis, promoting the region as a gateway to Ireland's west. The McNamaras, a powerful family during medieval times, contributed to the construction of churches, castles, and fortifications in the area. Their influence helped shape the landscape of Ennis and its surroundings, from the architectural legacy of the Franciscan Friary to the vibrant music celebrated at Glore Theatre. The town's landmarks serve as touchstones for understanding its past. Figures like Daniel O'Connell and Eamon de Valera remind us of Ennis's role in Ireland's national story, while families like the O'Briens and McNamaras anchor the town's narrative in the local community. Whether wandering through the serene grounds of the Old Ground Hotel, tracing the footsteps of political leaders at O'Connell Square, or reveling in the electric atmosphere of Cusack Park, visitors to Ennis encounter a town where the past is ever present, inspiring future generations to cherish their heritage. Today, Ennis remains a town proud of its heritage. Visitors can walk through history at the Clare Museum, which houses artifacts spanning centuries, or attend the annual Ennis Trad Festival, celebrating the town's rich musical traditions. The River Fergus, which once guided the town's growth, continues to offer tranquility and inspiration to all who visit. Its historic sites, battles, and the lives of its people remind us that while time may move forward, the past remains an indelible part of the present.
Gather around and I'll sing you a tale of Ennis town by the Fergus Vale, where the friars prayed and the battles raged, and the O'Brien's names on the stones are engraved. So raise a glass to the streets of Ennis, to the friary walls and the tales they tell us, from the days of old to the struggles won. Ennis stands proud 'neath the Irish sun. Franciscans came at the O'Brien's call. Their faith and their wisdom inspired them all. Through Cromwell's wrath and Henry's decree, the friars held fast, their hearts stayed free. So raise a glass to the streets of Ennis, to the friary walls and the tales they tell us, from the days of old to the struggles won. Ennis stands proud 'neath the Irish sun. O'Connell stood tall in the square that bears his name. For freedom and rights he carried the flame. The Clare election broke chains of the past, and the hopes of a nation were rising at last. So raise a glass to the streets of Ennis, to the friary walls and the tales they tell us, from the days of old to the struggles won. Ennis stands proud 'neath the Irish sun. In the old Ground Hotel, they whispered their plans, while the river Fergus embraced the lands. Through the War of Independence, they stood as one, for the dream of a free Ireland had just begun. So raise a glass to the streets of Ennis, to the friary walls and the tales they tell us, from the days of old to the struggles won. Ennis stands proud 'neath the Irish sun. Through famine and hardship they weathered the storm. The people of Ennis kept their hearts warm. Now tourists arrive to the town they adore, to hear the tales and walk the lore. So raise a glass to the streets of Ennis, to the friary walls and the tales they tell us, from the days of old to the struggles won. Ennis stands proud 'neath the Irish sun.
Authored by Frank Keane. Irish Towns. Frank.Keane1@gmail.com